Hey, look at that.
Yeah. What are we looking at?
8:03 on the nose. Boom.
Boom, baby.
Boom, baby. Well said tonight, John. Well said. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 222. Your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, Star Trek. We read all super chats on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We will be drinking alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we will give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to the Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and take part in the awesome community that hangs out over there.
Yeah.
I did that intro while cutting a lime.
A lime, huh? Got something special.
I'm saved by the buoyancy of citrus.
The limes.
Nope. Actually, I'm doing some mocktails and craft sodas this week. Because I've had a little bit of pain, like right along my rib cage, and actually had to go and see the doctor, and they think it's just like a really bad pulled muscle. But I'm on some serious like anti-inflammatory medications and whatnot, and they said no alcohol for at least a week, maybe two. So
does it say no alcohol, or does it say alcohol will affect the use of this drug or enhance the use of this drug?
See, that just sounds like enticing.
Right? It's like enhances. All right.
What else have they been keeping from me? Right.
Are you like putting a rack on a new server in your rack? You're like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yep.
So
like I am abiding by doctor's orders this week and taking it easy. And we're doing some mocktails.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was actually, even before all of this, I was even thinking, it's like, I was debating because I have some Lagunitas unfiltered brown sugar, and then I just bought a bottle of the Bigfoot barley wine. Both these bottles are like 10% or more, and I was like, I could do double beer, big beers on the show.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to go light today.
Yeah.
So I went with some lighter stuff. I'm actually going to do a cider today.
Nice.
And then a watermelon gosé later.
I am going with my favorite non-alcoholic beverage, and that is a 50-50 cranberry and ginger beer with a little bit of lime.
Oh, that sounds good.
It is... I used to have this every day at work. Like, this would be my drink at lunch. It's fantastic. It's bubbly. It's got a little bit of a bite to it. It's just freaking delicious. So,
what ginger beer are you using?
I'm using Fever Tree tonight. It was this or Cock and Bull. I've also got that in the fridge. Been digging a lot on Fever Tree lately. I've been doing a lot of their tonics and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
Nice. I am going to have today Martin House Brewing's Watermelon Salty Lady Gosé. So it's supposed to taste like salted watermelon taffy.
Nice.
But only coming in at 5%, so kind of a light one.
Novella Hub says, Jeff, have you been lifting some heavy new servers? Servers? No. Tough call. Don't mix or TC, don't mix alcohol with pills, kids. Exactly.
Yep.
Skull says, enhance. Yeah. NSAIDs and and alcohol do not mix. Yep. I'm on 1,000 mils of naproxen 2 times a day. And doing that for at least a week to see if we can get this flared muscle back under control, because it's like pushing on one of my ribs, and it's not like the most intense pain ever, but it's just this constant pain that flares up and goes back down. Yeah,
I've had stuff like that. Those are never fun.
Yep.
I hate when that happens.
Yep.
Let's see, we got a couple people I saw doing some
Maddie Dew is sipping on a hibiscus LaCroix.
Ooh, interesting.
East Coast Mod says hello from New Hampshire and cheers to you both. Hello, good sir. Good to see you in the chat here. Quark Solution has Knob Creek Rye, Angostura Bitter, and a big ice cube. It's going to be a fun night. Ooh, that sounds fantastic. Novella Hub, Phase 3 Brewing, Double Strawberry Chantilly, Milkshake IPA, 9%, from Lake Zurich, Illinois.
Nice. Dom is having a Voodoo Ranger Hoppy Pack, their experimental number 6, and Starship number 7 for later.
Nice. Let's see. RSP's got a tequila sour. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Jason Budney's got an Old Rasputin.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Stuff.
We got Benjamin has a Kentucky Mule with pineapple juice with Bullet Rye.
Nice. Big Sky's got a Kettle House Shandy, New England style, 7%.
Oh. A Shandy at 7%. Ooh, that could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And first super chat has come in. Harley sent over $5, and this is a bit of a somber note. I just today gave away a 14-year run of Bigfoot, 09 through 22. John would like to know your location right now.
I mean, I'm 2 years off of that. I have an 11 through 22. But actually, it's funny. I drank my 9.
Oh, did you?
I drank my 9 for a review because I needed it.
Yeah. So, Harley, I feel you on this one because I've gone through a number of Bigfoots. I've had a fair number of them. In 2020, late 2020, Sierra Nevada offered a Bigfoot collection. They sold it for $60 off their website because they got approval to be able to ship alcohol directly from online sales because of the pandemic, which was fantastic. And they decided to clear out some cellar space. And so you spend $60, they send you 8 bottles of Bigfoot from random years between 13 and 20. Or 13 and 19, I think it was. I ordered 2 of those boxes. They were delivered to my mailbox, and then I never got them.
Oh.
Yep. So $180 of Bigfoots just.
Oh.
Yep.
That stinks.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, but
guess who shipped it?
Was it FedEx?
By chance, it was.
Oh, now just after that, all of your packages are being late.
Right.
They're stifling through them.
Yeah.
Why are my boxes reopened?
This guy always gets good shit.
Yeah. Sir, it broke in the mail. Sorry, we had to confiscate it. It was dripping out the side, so we had to take everything else with it. Well, what does he mean, give away?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Did you sell it? Were you forced to give it away as payment? What?
Yeah.
Did they all get spoiled? Even if they got spoiled, I would have left out in the sun. Just keep the bottle sealed.
Zach's Tech Turf, evening gents. Good evening, good sir. Good to see you here. The net guy also chimes in. Betty White called John. She wants her chair back.
Yeah, he put some pictures in the Discord.
Nice. Rev says my regular delivery guy must have the worst hangover. Yeah, probably. Man, I lose more stuff and get more stuff delayed from FedEx than I could possibly count at this point. Like, for a while, I was keeping track. Now I just keep track of the packages that have arrived on time, which is still a weird metric to keep. And I think in the month of January, they were 1.
Oh, that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of things that, well, are finally cheap enough.
It's like, where are you going with this one?
I was trying to find a segue as I was talking, and it just didn't work.
I know. I was like, okay, speaking of, I was like, okay, he's going.
He's getting into the news, all right.
What? Wait, what?
Speaking of, yeah, whatever.
Speaking of tech. Right?
Yes. You came here for tech, right? We've got tech. Oh, we've got tech. Tech is in the news, even. Speaking of things that are very expensive, John, have you ever looked at cameras that require CFexpress cards?
You know, actually, I have. I was looking at some before I bought this one, and it was just... The problem is they're just so expensive.
Right.
They're super fast. And at the same time, too...
Moderately fast. They're moderately fast.
Okay, they're faster than my SSD. My SD card. Sorry.
Yes, they are markedly faster than SD cards.
They're faster than my SD card. However, I was looking at the storage capacity also of these, and it was like, I couldn't shoot more than one video on these things.
No, not even close.
For my budget. Yeah. I mean, I can go, spend a lot of... and then it was like, well, I can go buy some glass and a nice camera, and I'll have a big SD card. This all worked out for me just fine.
So to put some context into this, okay, a 140 or 128 gigabyte CFexpress card on Amazon right now runs between $140 and $220 for 128 gigs.
Yeah, you're basically paying $1 a gig.
At the low end, you're paying
at the low.
Yeah. Where I'm from, we start measuring in dollars per terabyte.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still measuring in dollars per gigabyte, and they're above whole numbers still for that. It is ridiculous how expensive CFexpress cards are, especially because CFexpress is just SATA 3. There's nothing weird about CFexpress. Compact flash, the old digital camera cards that you used, those were based off laptop PATA interfaces, just a slightly smaller pin stack. And so you can get passive adapters to plug compact flash cards into IDE slots on motherboards. It's a very common thing to see on thin client and laptop builds and like old iBook G4s and things like that you want to keep running, to just run a compact flash card instead of going out and trying to find an ATA solid state drive. CFexpress is just the SATA standard, the SATA 3 standard, which is 6 gigabit per second. It's the same interface. And so there's absolutely no reason in the world for CFexpress to be as expensive as it is.
Isn't it just like the pins? Aren't there like 3 pins or something like that?
It has like a mini SATA interface on it. So the back of a SATA drive is the little short one for the data and the longer one for the power. There's also a compact SATA, which you sometimes see in mobile CD and DVD drives. Yeah. It's a shorter power rail and the same power and the same data cable. CFexpress uses something that's just like slightly wider than the mini SATA connector for a laptop drive.
Okay.
It's nothing exotic. It's nothing weird. And for some reason, no one's ever really released a low-cost alternative to it. Until now. So a company called Syntec has released an M.2 2230 SSD adapter that will slide inside of a CFexpress housing that is 100% compatible with CFexpress requiring cameras, which is a fantastic turn of events because an M2230 500 gig drive is $100.
Oh yeah,
I've bought a couple of them. I have one in a GPD Win 2 handheld. I bought a 500 gig M.2 2230.
Yeah, you can get those drives even cheaper. Well, for the space wise, I bet if you looked on Amazon, probably like $75 or $60 for a smaller gig mount.
Yeah,
they're not expensive for upgrading your little hard drive or having a lot of people buy them just for their boot drive. You put like a 250 gig boot drive, and then you have something else. For a little cheap computer.
Right.
And they're, like you were saying, they are charged by like the fraction of a penny or a fraction of a cent per gig. This is ridiculous. I didn't think these cards were this much still, because when I was looking at cameras, it was a while ago for stuff like this. This is stupid. Why would someone pay this? I mean, it's a cool adapter, and it almost seems like someone just was like, I'm just gonna 3D print something, and it worked. And like, why didn't anybody else do this? I'll make money then. Sure, throw it out there. I hope you. I don't know how much of a market is still out there for those type.
For CFexpress, right. It's huge.
Yeah. Really.
Especially if you get into the mid-range video market.
Yeah.
A lot of my cameras still record on SD cards and things like that. My Zcam E2, which is my primary camera here in the studio, its internal memory is a CFexpress card. I record directly to a USB-C SSD because it was so much flippin' cheaper. And it's basically the same type of adapter, but mine's in a Samsung T5 case. But I have a little carrier on the side of my camera. I slide an SSD cartridge up into it. It connects to a USB-C cable, and then I tighten it down, and it holds it in like it's part of the camera. And it runs fantastically. I've never used the compact, the CFexpress slot ever on this camera. Because the
right speed.
The write speed on my drives is something like 500 megabytes per second.
Oh, okay.
Which there's no limitation for recording media on the codecs that I can record on the USB SSD versus the CFexpress. It's all the same. And so why would I spend $150, $200 on a 128 gig CFexpress when I could buy a 500 gig SSD or two of them for $80 a piece, slide them onto the side of the camera. Like I did all of my store. I have a terabyte of storage, or two different times I bought a terabyte of storage. So two 500 gig drives. I have 4 of them right now that I have on rotation. And that has bought me what about 256 gigs of CFexpress would have cost me.
So basically CFX is $1 a gig. You're paying 25 cents a gig, essentially, for greater write speed.
Yeah.
And all you really had to do is probably buy maybe a $40 adapter to hook to the side of the camera.
No, it's not even that. It was literally a piece for my camera cage, which was $20. It was $19 for the holder for the T5 drive. And then I think the cable came with the camera cage because so many people used it. They just went, yeah, here's the C cable. Just go for it. And it's a nice C cable. It actually has a locking lug on it.
Cool.
That locks both into the camera body and onto the adapter. And so when you slide it in, it just connects and everything works. There's no like fiddling with cables and trying to plug things in or anything like that.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
And the cable was like $15 if you wanted to buy it separately. Yeah.
Well, this is cool though, because I mean, the people that have these type of cameras now, that are finding the limitations, hopefully they'll see this. You know, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
For a camera aspect, for a memory storage aspect. I don't know, because this really wouldn't be used for. What was that? Did you hear that?
Huh?
No, I heard a voice. Kind of like, remember when a long time ago someone was talking through the Discord or the YouTube channel? It sounded just like that.
No, not hearing it on my end. No more voices than usual.
Just the three.
Just the three of us, right?
But I don't know what this would be used for other than photography, because these type of chips, that's pretty much their primary use. So like you were saying, the SD or the chips that we can go and swap them out for,
right?
They're just so much cheaper on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or, you know, wherever you want to buy your electronics from.
Yeah. Yeah, the CFexpress is primarily used as a video recording medium. You'll find it on, I was going to say Red cameras, but no, you won't. You have to use Red Minimags. You'll find it on the Zcam line of cameras. Most of their, basically the Zcam E2 and higher, use CFexpress. There's the Sony R4 and the R7S3, the Sony FX3, and I believe Canon cinema lines as well. So the EOS C200 and C400 and cameras like that. They all use CFexpress for internal storage. Now they also have an SD card, but you're limited on what codecs you can use when you're using the SD card. And Zcam is one of the only cameras that allows you to record out via USB-C. That and Blackmagic. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema. Yeah.
So I guess, then this is, for photography, this is really cool for people doing photography or filming.
Videography, cinematography.
Videography,
exactly.
For all those YouTube channels that are trying to make series and whatnot, this will actually be really good for them, because they can spend twice as long shooting, probably because they'll have more data to play with, and they won't be breaking their budget. So they won't have to go and spend, $500-600 on 128 gig. Well, actually, it'd be more like, that'd be about 500 gig SDB card or CFE card.
Yeah. I always want to say compact flash because that's what the standard started as, was compact flash, and now they just call it CFexpress, but it's compact flash express. But no one knows what you're talking about if you say compact flash express. Stupid. Someone chimed in. Hold up.
I thought we missed like one or two super chats too.
Yes, we did. That's what I was scrolling back up for. Missed one. Tech Geek 01, $10. Thank you, by the way. I'm lucky enough that UPS delivers most of my packages. I know our delivery guy by name, and he does a wonderful job at delivering and sometimes hiding packages from prying eyes. That is awesome. Most of my delivery guys, at least here at my house, are pretty darn good. I have an area that I kind of try to filter the packages over to, and most of them have kind of figured that out. Because you can't really see it from the street, but like if you walk onto my porch and then look to the right, you'll kind of see this little landing zone for them, which is nice. And then we do have some who don't care too. I've never seen one of the flying packages, like he gets out of the truck and drop kicks it or crap like that. But yeah, the main problem that I have is the aforementioned shipping company to my commercial site that I receive packages at. They have been awful.
Yeah. We because my wife deals with a lot of shipping stuff. We actually got to the point to where we start even leaving like we have 2 bins of snacks and water or something like that for them. So after like a couple months of that, they are like, oh, this is the cool house. Yeah, we'll treat them good and stuff like that. Plus we also have a camera.
Great.
So they're like, thank you, and they wave.
That's awesome. Let's see. Jonathan is good morning from the UK. Got up to watch you Thanks for your efforts and have a good day. Thank you, Jonathan. My day's almost over, but I do appreciate the sentiment. I'll have a good one tomorrow for you. How's that? We still know who you're talking about, Jeff. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. So how's your drink going?
I like it. It's like not as sweet as a Jolly Rancher watermelon candy.
Well, I certainly hope not in liquid form.
No,
that would be syrup.
But it has that watermelon candy flavor to it.
Yeah.
Like a sour watermelon, but with a little bit of salt. I mean, just a hint.
Nice.
So it's actually not too bad. I think it would be better in like the summertime, not winter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a nice light beer that I really can't complain about. So yeah.
Excellent. Again, I have this drink all the time. 50-50 ginger beer and cranberry juice with just a little bit of lime in it. It is a fantastic, bubbly, bright drink with just that right amount of ginger spice to kind of, help wake you up and clear your sinuses at the same time.
What ginger ale you were using, because or the ginger beers can all range from spicy to sweet and whatnot. And so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, I do like cranberry juice and ginger ale from time to time, but most of the time I do like a good ginger beer, and this is fantastic. Fever Tree has an amazingly good spice to it.
Yeah, no, I like ginger beer. If I'm gonna have it, I like it to be that a little bit of an extra spice to it, because I guess if it's like, ginger beer, I want to have that ginger root flavor, that spiciness, that kick, because it's always just a nice twist to a drink.
Yeah, exactly. I drink cranberry juice all the time anyway, so why not spice it up a bit? All right. Speaking of spicing things up, you know who always keeps things spicy? Our sponsor. Today's episode of Talking Heads is brought to you by Linode. If you've ever needed to host your own servers, whether it be for home or business use, but don't have the resources or time to invest into hardware, power, cooling, or even space, why not let Linode host them for you? If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. That includes the software for most of the tutorials you've seen on my channel, like how to run your own ad-blocking recursive DNS server, VPN gateway, your own cloud-based Plex server, and more. With shared CPU plans starting at as little as $5 per month and scaling up to as high as you need to go, you'll be able to find a hosting plan that fits your needs. And even if you do host your own servers, you can use Linode to keep a backup off-site. Because remember, RAID is not a backup. Linode also recently announced they are the first alternative cloud provider to have NVMe block storage available to all customers. In September, they began rolling out NVMe drives to all 11 of their global data centers. Best of all, storage rates will remain at the same low price they always have been. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing and get a $100 60-day credit when signing up for a new account. That's linode.com/craftcomputing, and thanks again to Linode for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Linode.
Yes. Jonathan chatted back with $5 euros. Get a drink on me. So there you go. Tomorrow, go have a drink.
There you go.
Of more cranberry and ginger beer.
Yes. Is cranberry juice sweetened or unsweetened? This one is 100% cranberry juice. And so this one's an unsweetened, just cranberry, like squeezed cranberries and water.
A little bit of tartness.
Yeah, so it's tart, it's spicy. It does naturally have a little bit of sweetness to it, but I will say that straight up cranberry juice can be a bit of an acquired taste. Cranberry cocktail also works fantastic with this as well, if you want it just a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, no, cranberry juice for me usually I like cranberry juice, but it always has kind of a drying flavor to it at the back end. Although for me that always makes drinks very dangerous, because then you're just like, I gotta keep my mouth moist, so I just keep drinking. Moist.
Put $1 in the moist jar, John. Speaking of moist, Apple.
I got a new Big Mac.
Yeah. Apple is set to reportedly release. I tried to say like 4 words at the same time, and none of them wanted to come out. Is set to release as many as 4 M2 Apple Silicon devices before the end of the year.
Yep.
That includes an updated entry-level MacBook Pro, an updated MacBook Air, a Mac Mini, and a 24-inch iMac. It is also said that the Mac Mini, as soon as this spring, will be receiving the M1 Max and the M1 Pro CPUs as an upgrade. So, assuming we'll get an M1 Max, M1 Pro, and then an M2 later in the year. There's also talk of the 27-inch iMac Pro not receiving the M2, at least this year. That one is only going to receive the M1 Max and the M1 and the M1 Pro. So, again, this is all speculation. This is according to Notebook Check, and they do have a pretty decent track record of being accurate on rumors like this. But I'm definitely excited to see what the next level of Apple Silicon is. I'm still on my original M1 from almost a year and a half ago. I bought it in, early December of 2020. So used it all of 2021, and here are the first couple of months of 2022. Been a phenomenally good laptop. I also have an M1 Mac Mini. That is my 3D design workstation, as odd as that sounds. That's where I do all of my 3D printing and modeling and things like that, is all on a Mac Mini. So, fantastic stuff.
The M1 die and chip, the specs wise is really cool stuff. What is it, like 8 core and a 10 core, something along that lines? Eight cores.
4 of them are high speed cores. 4 of them are low speed cores.
Yes.
So using kind of the ARM big little architecture.
Yeah.
But they have native x86 translation for instructions, and so running code that was designed for x86 and x64 runs just as fast on an M1 as it does on equivalent Intel and AMD hardware. And of all the things to be skeptical of, I was so skeptical of that when that news was announced. Because, yeah, right, like a 35-watt ARM chip is not going to compete. It freaking does. And my laptop is, the M1 MacBook Pro is the best laptop I've ever owned. I mean, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
Well, now we don't really quite know we don't know the whole specs on the M2, right? I don't
Correct.
remember.
Yeah,
but I mean,
the M1 Max is 8 high performance cores and 2 efficiency cores.
So I mean, it's obviously we could probably assume something more around 10, maybe 12 cores.
I would assume 12 to 16, quite honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, if that's,
or maybe we'll get a bunch of different variants of it. So
point.
we'll get maybe an 8 core at the base with the same 4-4 big little architecture, and then we'll get, a 16 core with 12 and 4 or something like that. Lots and lots of room for options.
Yeah, and what's really awesome is it's their own silicone or their own chipset, and it was making everything just ultra thin.
Yeah.
And the power consumption was ultra low. These will be cool if the second series, if it's anything like even like the jump between the Xeon, not the Xeons, but AMD's what was the latest, what's their chip series? The new
Zen?
Zen. Yeah.
Ryzen.
Yeah. Sorry. I wanted to call them Intel Xeon chips for some reason. I was like, it's not Xeon.
Ryzen?
Ryzen. Zen and Xeon is where I was getting it.
Yep.
But anyway, it's like the Ryzen, where Ryzen 1 was like, oh, this is really cool. It's a really great chip.
Mm-hmm.
And then they jumped to 2 and it was like, whoa, that's awesome. Yeah. Zen 2 is so much better. And I hope Apple doesn't flop with the M2.
By all
I don't
accounts,
think they will. I really don't think they will. But
right. I don't think they will. I honestly do not.
When it comes to their own particular hardware, they do really good.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
Well, they've been making their own chips for a decade now. They've just primarily been in the iPhone and the iPad.
Yep.
And so them, designing their own architecture is nothing new.
But they had the whole contract with Intel for the longest time.
Right. They used Intel for a primary supplier for their desktops. But there's been rumors of Apple-based silicon from all the way back in 2008, just a couple of years after they started going Intel in the first place, after they abandoned PowerPC. So if you're a company like that, if you're a company like Apple, or if you're a company like Intel or AMD, you're always researching other avenues that are complete divergence from your current process. Because you have to. It's good business. What happens if you miss the boat on the next big thing? You don't want to ever be in that situation. ARM has always been around. Let's put it that way. But the impact that ARM is going to have on the market, I think, in the next 5 years can't be understated. And I think NVIDIA knew that. And unfortunately, for NVIDIA anyway, regulators decided that you're not going to buy ARM. We like ARM being a separate entity. We think that would give you too much power in the market. So the sale fell through, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm sure an NVIDIA ARM partnership will still be forthcoming. I'm sure Apple's use of ARM will continue to grow. And honestly, we've been seeing some dynamite performance out of, Snapdragon on the mobile side of things. If anyone's gone and watched a review of the Ein Odin Pro running Windows 11 on a Snapdragon 845, the performance is unreal. And it's still not terrific at executing x86, but programs that have native ARM support for Windows, they're pretty darn good.
Yeah, no, and it's getting there too. Windows is even moving themselves in that direction too.
Right.
So, I mean, they say they see the winds are changing. So they're trying to get more support too, and this is also going. What do you? Did I miss it?
Bottom comment or chat.
John.
Not going to repeat it. I'm just going to let it sit there. What about RISC-V? RISC-V is a very intriguing architecture in that it is 100% open source top to bottom. Which is kind of similar to ARM. ARM you can license for essentially free and then you can customize it and do what you want as well. And they obviously have licensure agreements for certain aspects of it, but you can license the platform to do what you want. With RISC, it's open source. Open source is always a double-edged sword because what company wants to invest into it and take ownership of it enough to improve it to the point where they can start making products with it and keep it open source? What developers are going to be working on this? That, like, RISC-V, it's an intriguing architecture. It's an interesting way of doing things. It's and I hope it works. There was actually I didn't get a chance to add this to the notes a couple of weeks ago, but apparently there's a Tinker board coming out just like the Raspberry Pi, but with a dual-core RISC-V on it, with custom architecture. So if you've ever wanted to try RISC-V, then it's possible. And I think the board was coming out for like $50.
Yeah, I have it's a different Tinker board, but not that one. But yeah, because they were cheaper. I just wanted to I wonder what a Raspberry Pi competitor is like.
And I saw RISC-V pop up in another product that I was actually looking at. Oh, right. I have a product coming that has RISC-V on board. So stay tuned to the channel.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. You'll find more information coming soon.
Yes. I have a Kickstarter coming that has a dual-core RISC-V in it. And it should ship here like next week or something like that. So I'm kind of excited for it. But yeah, RISC-V is intriguing. It's the same thing with Linux. I'll say this. If you want mass adoption, someone with the bankroll and the know-how has to take... Ownership is not really the right word, but has to take the impetus to improve it. And Linux, while it may dominate data centers and infrastructure, it has never been a user-friendly OS. Period. And I don't want to hear any arguments about it. And I don't want to hear, well, half the world uses it because Android is based on... Android is a company taking the Linux kernel and making it user-friendly. And while Android itself is still kind of open source, do you realize you have to tweak the ever-loving crap out of it to get it user-friendly? That's why Samsung had custom launchers for so long in early versions of Android, because they had features that Google themselves didn't put in yet. And they just kind of stuck with the custom launcher, and they've always done that, and that's been their thing. But remember, like 6 or 7 years ago, when the phone that you bought got you a completely different set of widgets and launchers and app managers and settings tabs and home screens and everything else. And yeah, it was a mess trying to migrate from one Android device to another Android device because almost nothing was compatible. And the hardware wasn't compatible either because they had like 7 different major manufacturers of CPUs, GPUs, etc. And so you, from the Google Play Store, you would have to select which CPU architecture your phone used. People don't remember the dark days of Android. They just remember, oh, it's fully tinkerable and it's open source, so it's way better than Apple, right? Okay.
Well, again, too, at least it's evolved faster than, say, Linux-based stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the reason SteamOS has a chance and the Steam Deck has a chance is because Valve, for the last 5 years, has been sinking a ton of R&D and development time into improving the aspects of Linux that it needs to be able to compete in the operating system market. That is Wine, DXVK, Vulkan, etc., pouring resources and development hours into those to improve the Linux experience in general, but so they can use it on a hardware and software combination that they can dole out. It's open source. If it doesn't work, you can just fix it. Thank you, Tech Geek, for $5. Someone can fix it. Yeah, I can't fix it.
Yeah, you gonna fix it? You gonna pseudo your way out of that one?
Right. And you know what? If I get on a forum and I ask how to fix it, I'll be laughed at because I don't know how to fix it already. What are you doing on here in a forum about asking questions about Linux if you need to ask questions about Linux? I don't know. Maybe I wanted to learn more?
Yeah. Or just like any other forum tech thing, it'll be like someone asked the exact same question like 5 years ago and no one ever answered it. Yeah. I'm just like, wow. Or it'll be you'll see like, oh, 12 comments.
Never mind,
on this
fixed.
Subject. Yeah, never mind, fixed. Or, yeah, me too. Please reply. Yeah, me three. Please reply. Yeah, I got the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you know, there is something in the tech world that is kind of improving. Yeah. There's a little flame over there, and if we fan
this
it,
little light of mine,
and we keep it to close, it might grow into a fire. If we just put it,
my lord. Sorry, is that in poor taste?
But graphics cards.
Oh, sorry, I missed a super chat. Can I replace my last video about... So this is named Oasis. Can I replace my last video about TrueNAS? I have a high-pitched noise across the entire thing.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything. I can check. I don't recall hearing anything. I know I did have some audio issues with it, and the EQ was a little weird, which is why I sound a little bit tinny in that one. But I wasn't aware of anything else. I'll take a look. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't give a crap about me. So unless you're Mark Rober with 7 million views, and then you fake a bunch of reaction videos on your Porch Pirate glitter bombs, and go, oh, I didn't know about that, so let's just ignore it and pretend it never happened and no one ever cares. And then he replaced the video with a shorter one that, and YouTube went, yeah, that's totally cool because you're Mark Rober. I don't get that. I can't replace videos. Blame Rhett. Yes, if there is in fact a noise in there, I will blame Rhett.
Yep.
I only heard a noise at the beginning. Don't sneeze, the fire will go out. Yeah.
Probably Rhett. He went and like recorded.
If only AMD was still making R9 Nanos, the fire would never go out.
Or what was it? The Android. What was the bomb one?
Oh, the Galaxy Note 7?
7?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah. Caught fire at people's pants.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mr. Gearlings here. Recovering from a nice big old DDoS this morning. Ouch.
Ooh, fun.
Who let Redshirt Jeff out of the brig is what I want to know. Novella Hub says, I heard Rhett giggling at the end. Yeah. Yeah, an Archer joke will always make Rhett giggle. Yeah, the Note 7, Galaxy Note 7. Anyway.
Anyways.
There is a little light. There may be, I don't know if it's a dying canary or if it's a train coming or what, but there seems to be a little bit of light somewhere in the tunnel. And that is that worldwide graphics card supply seems to be improving. However, the prices have not yet come down to reflect that. Probably because demand has been so high for so long, and we're still behind.
Everyone's still scrapped. Yeah.
Right.
Picking them up so fast.
20% better than 60% not enough is still a lot not enough. Yeah. I hope that sentence made some semblance of sense. But yeah, so yes, supplies of graphics cards are improving. I actually purchased an RTX 3090 for retail price. Now, I was on the waiting list for 10 months, but I did it. I got one.
See? You can get it.
Right.
You can do it. So,
yeah.
You just had to put your name on from the very beginning and then wait a year.
Right. I mean, why couldn't you guys do that? Don't you guys have phones?
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's simple. It's everyone can do it. Just do it yourself. Yeah, so it is still an issue. I mean, there's kind of a light of hope. I guess my light of hope was more of not this gen's graphics cards. It'll be the next ones, and then hopefully everyone will go after those, and then we'll get the 30 series finally for most people. You know, maybe I can actually get a 3080. Who knows? Probably not. You'll just give me one, I know. When I say give, it means I probably have to sell it and buy it from you and give you a bunch of beer.
Yeah, probably.
And then I'll be like, Jeff, I don't have a power supply to run this too. I need one of those.
Ooh.
And like, well, crap out. Shit all up.
Yep. Yeah, John, do I?
Yeah, that's basically.
I'd say, John, do I look like a micro center to you?
Yes, I've seen your garage.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Actually, towards the end of it, my garage was better stocked.
Yes. I'd rather go to your place than Circuit City.
Yes.
Or Fry's.
All right. It is 8:53. We have a great transition to the next story, but my glass has also reached empty. How's yours doing?
I just finished.
Perfect. If you want to go ahead and open yours up, I'm gonna go grab myself another beverage.
All right, I am gonna do a cider right now. La Familia Cider Company. Never heard of this? It's a guava cider. So, a tart tropical cider. The term tart and tropical was what kind of got me. It kind of almost has the same look. Oh, yes. There we go. Yes. You can see my face through it. But it doesn't smell very tart or tropical. It smells like most ciders, which smells like butt. Hopefully it doesn't taste like butt.
What cider is that? Sorry.
It is a guava cider.
Interesting.
So it says tart and tropical. So I'm hoping it's kind of another sour style.
I am also having a cider. Mine is a non-alcoholic cider. It is from Otto, and it is a CBD hopped apple cider.
What's the milligrams on the?
I think this one was 30. Yeah, 30.
Okay, that's a good size.
Yeah.
Jeff's gonna feel nice and relaxed for the after show.
Yep. Me too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Definitely not clear.
Yeah, that's a cloudy looking thing there.
Ooh. It's very cidery.
Really? Mine is. In my head. There we go. Clear, bubbly. It just tastes like cider. I don't get any guava.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just tastes like a semi-sweet cider. That's it. It could be the watermelon and saltiness of the other one. It's kind of like, overtaken.
Yeah.
Everything, but this just tastes. I mean, it's a good cider.
Yeah.
As far as like, yeah, it tastes like a nice light sweet cider.
Yeah. I reused my cranberry ginger beer glass, and I do still have a little bit of that peppery note from the ginger. But so this is a hopped apple. It's not quite like a Granny Smith flavor, but it's leaning that direction. It's a little bit drier than that. But can definitely taste the hops in it. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. Jeff Geerling sends over $5. Thank you very much, Jeff. Did someone say cider? We did indeed.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Best cider I ever had from a can was somewhere in LA. I have no idea what kind it was, but it tasted as good as a fresh tap cider. Nice.
No, I mean, we like ciders here too. A good cider is great. I mean, we live really close to you. Used to live extremely close to a very great cider place that had amazing hard cider. It's great. We used to go to 1859, that one in downtown Salem.
Yeah, 1859.
1859. Man, they had some good ciders.
Yes.
They still sell them, but the tap room closed.
Yeah. For obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, but I remember talking. Those are cool guys too. So, but yeah, no, we love ciders. Not just beer. It's just there's just a bigger abundance of beer. And honestly, cider can be expensive. It's just because you have to buy the apples year round, so you have to import them. That's a lot of weight. Then you have to wash them. And you want to. It's expensive to make hard cider, more so than what you think.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Yeah, it's more expensive to make and a smaller market. So.
Yeah, there's that too.
Total Leak wants to know, hi gents, would I run Pi-hole on TrueNAS? Yes. That was actually my very first virtualization tutorial I ever wrote, was how to run Pi-hole on, at that time was a FreeNAS server as a VM. But yes, yeah, Pi-hole, the nice thing about Pi-hole is it will literally run on anything. There's no kind of special requirements as far as virtualization goes or any other hardware requirements goes. It's install your favorite flavor of Linux and run the wget bash script and it installs. Like, that's it. So yeah, it's a very basic service and will run on pretty much anything. I wouldn't run it bare metal with TrueNAS at the same time because they both use ports 80 and 447. And even though 53 is used for DNS by Pi-hole, you would run into conflicts with the management portal. So if you're going to run it, make sure it's either in a container or in a VM. There you go. Speaking of Steam OS, we finally got our first real look at the Steam Deck, and that is we actually have reviews out now of the Steam Deck hardware and performance numbers from some games. And to say that reviews were glowing, I think would be an understatement. I saw a couple negative comments or a couple cons in the pro-con lists of a lot of YouTube reviewers, but they also put the caveat in there, but I'm willing to put up with it because holy crap, this device is amazing. Like, size-wise, it's a little big. You're going to need larger hands to be 100% comfortable. But the performance is so good, and it's unlike any other Windows handheld you've ever tried, and it's only $430. I'm willing to forgive the not perfect ergonomics for Linus-sized hands. There's the performance of it, which, you know, it's a Zen 2 chip running DDR5 on an APU. It's only a 720p screen or a 1280 by 800, but yeah, honestly, in this screen size, it doesn't matter. Does anyone complain about the resolution on the Switch? No one that you should listen to does.
Yeah, it's so small, you don't care.
Right.
Like, what are you docking this and put it on your 70-inch like TV or something, which probably only runs at 60 hertz anyways. So what do you even care, you know? Oh, you're not going to get it. So you're going to hook it up to your gaming monitor? If you have a gaming monitor, you probably have a gaming PC then. Yeah. This is for portability of that. Yep. You really, out of everything though, the only thing that really kind of got me on the downside was the size. It really was just the size of it. The thing is huge.
It is not a small device.
No, it is. I mean, the screen alone is almost the size of the Switch with the two controllers. Although we also have to remember this is version 1. Yeah. If you remember version 1 of what would actually be the Switch, which would be the Wii U, that thing was big and bulky for what that was. This is basically proof of concept, and they're just taking everyone's critique. Yep. It's, hey, we're making the best portable device that can play all of your favorite Steam games with our own OS on it. And we're going to make it user-friendly, portable, and you're going to love playing all of your games. It can go from here to your desktop back and forth seamlessly. Yep. There's just going to be some design flaws. There's going to be some issues. The pads are a little bit bigger and popped out more than how I would personally like it. That's just how it's going to be. I'm sure the next gen, especially with chipsets, heat sinks, everything can shrink down get bigger. They'll probably put an OLED in there to bust that screen out, improve it a little bit. Boom, there we go.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen. I still think this is a great device. It's just like I said, my biggest issue is really just size. It's not really portable. I'm going to need a pretty decent sized case if I was going to put it in my backpack. And because of that, it's going to be a little bit heavier. Actually, I think the other issue was the battery. The battery was only a little bit.
Yeah, the battery was 90 minutes to 6 to 8 hours with very light use games like 16-bit emulation and stuff like that.
And so it was like, I'd like to see that be bumped up, but then at the same time, that's going to cause a lot of weight.
Right. So, full disclosure, I have not had hands on a Steam Deck yet, nor have I talked to anyone who has had hands on a Steam Deck. Literally along for the ride with the rest of you as far as my opinion goes, so take that as it is. However, I have owned a number of Windows-based handhelds over the years, both good and bad, and there's always some inherent issues with trying to shrink down Windows and x86, x64 hardware into a compact, semi-pocketable, portable unit that is powerful enough to play games on the road, let alone AAA games at decent resolutions and frame rates, let alone be comfortable, let alone not overheat or overheat the user, let alone be good to look at, let alone, there are so many different aspects in which a console like this can fail. And I have a GPD Win 1. I have a GPD Win 2. I owned a GPD Win 3. As much as I loved the performance of the GPD Win 3, I also ended up selling that console. It was gorgeous to look at. It was fairly comfortable to hold, although it wasn't the most comfortable device I had ever had because I had nothing to grip on the backside. So I found myself kind of balancing it on my fingertips a lot, especially because you have to reach up and get the triggers on the very top instead of wrapping more naturally around the back. That led to actually, if I was sitting in bed playing the device, my right hand would start going numb after a while. Just because of the angle that I'm having to hold it at and then straining with your fingertips. But 720p screen, ran Windows 10, Windows 11, had a terabyte of storage on board, played pretty much every game that you would want to play at, 25 to 60 FPS, somewhere in that range. And that's like the brand new modern stuff, not including the retro stuff, which goes 60 FPS without even turning the fan on. It was a great console, but it had some Achilles heels. It didn't have a great input method outside of the controller. It had a touch-sensitive keyboard with no mechanical keys on it. It had a touch screen, which worked okay, but the interface was only as good as the Windows Touch interface was, which has always been crap. Except for Windows 8.1. Like Windows 8.1, they got it right, and then they reverted back, and it's like, I guess I can't touch the computer again. That, and they never consolidated the control panel anyway, so, obviously my expectations for touch input on Windows are way too high.
Yeah, the other Jeff was talking about the Game Gear, and I was going to bring the Game Gear up. It's like, do people remember the Game Gear ergonomics back in the day really weren't a thing? Portable devices like that. Again, I kind of agreed with you with the holding of the controller. That's what I really liked about the Switch was the controllers came out, so you can go buy third-party ones and be like, oh, these are a bit more comfortable for my hand.
Yep.
These fit better. I understand something like this, they actually need the space, so they can't do something like that. Right.
Not only that, but this device is already big enough. Are you going to add more to it to make it more comfortable and thereby less portable? I will say this has one very big advantage, which a lot of modern laptops and portable devices have, which is it charges over USB-C. So your charging brick is fairly minuscule. Your cable is pretty universal. And I will say, from reviews that I've seen, think of this also as a Steam controller, which I do own a Steam controller. The haptic inputs are fairly easy to use, and you certainly could use a touch-based keyboard input method system, very much like you do inside of virtual reality, inside of Steam VR, or with a Steam Deck, or Steam Deck with a Steam controller on big picture mode. And it works. And that also gives you mouse inputs, and also gives you can section off the buttons for extra buttons for keyboard inputs. So this definitely has a leg up in the control department from something like the GPD Win 3. This is also a third the price of the GPD Win 3 at $429. You only get 64 gigs of eMMC storage with that one, but you can also upgrade that to 256 or 512 gigs of storage for, what is it, 530 and 630 or something like that. And so even at its highest spec, it's half the price of one of the only competitors in the market. There's the Aya Neo, which is the AMD variant of a portable handheld, and it's a great device, but it also has its flaws. There's is there a Powkiddy one? Or I'm trying to think of there's another one also that a lot of people like that runs Windows and x86 hardware, but they're all
the device.
Right, but they're all basically integrated graphics, and they scale down the display enough to where it's acceptable to play it at 30 FPS, rather than providing legitimate graphics hardware to actually improve performance. There was a question earlier on, I don't remember who asked it, but any word on SteamOS 3.0? Valve has said from the very beginning, and they reiterated it, I believe, early last month, that SteamOS 3.0 will be available as a standalone download. You can download it and install it on your own devices sometime after the launch of the Steam Deck. And so we will not see a SteamOS 3.0 download until after the retail launch of the Steam Deck. I was a little disappointed with that. I would love to get my hands on SteamOS and try it on a couple of different devices that I have. I'd love to try it on a device like the GPD Win 2 or GPD Win 3. How compatible is this?
That would be pretty fun. Well, you can't do it on the 3 because that's gone.
Right, yeah. I can't do it on the 3, but, I'd love to see it on some other portable devices. I think that could be a lot of fun and be a great point of comparison. I'd love to see it on a desktop with desktop hardware. Could this be a usable gaming console replacement? Gaming PC operating system replacement? Because SteamOS was basically big picture mode with no desktop environment. And with the introduction of Steam Play and DXVK and Vulkan as a native API for a lot of new games and stuff like that, a lot of that compatibility is coming around. And as Valve says with SteamOS 3.0, every game you want to play will be playable. Well, I really want to put that to the test with more than just a Ryzen APU. Can I toss a 2060 at it and play? Can I, game on an AMD 6700 XT or whatever? I would like to see how far down that rabbit hole actually goes. And then also explore the usability of SteamOS as a daily driver OS for casual use. More than just a gaming operating system. Can I do basic tasks on this and also game? Because that's always been the Achilles heel of Linux as a consumer operating system, is sometimes you can do a lot of things, but there's always a couple of things that just flat out don't work. And there are things that should work, that work on other versions of Linux, but not the one that you chose.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I know. And then that's why
we'll just recompile the kernel back to 5.14.
Whatever. Yeah. No, and that's always why people always say Windows. You always just go back to Windows, because Windows works with everything. It's like, no matter what, you can hate it, no matter how much you hate it, but it works. And but no, that would be kind of a really cool video of seeing like if you can get your hands on a Steam Deck and then like Steam OS 3.0 and then put that on a portable Windows machine. That would be kind of cool,
right?
Of a comparison.
Yeah,
that'd be really sick.
Let's see. Tech Geek sends over another $5. Got to run. I work in the morning. It's 11 p.m. here. Have a great night, Jeff and John. Thank you. Have a great night yourself. And a great day tomorrow. Drowsy says, interesting thinking there, Jeff. And it's the Linux OS that the Linux people have always wanted, and also yelled at people that said it didn't exist. I want to be able to permanently install Linux on a PC at home and have it work for a purpose. Whether that purpose is it plays all of my games. If that's the purpose, cool. I can have a computer that runs Linux. If the purpose is I can browse the web and write documents and watch YouTube, I can do that on my phone. There's not a purpose to having that machine. If I could run OBS on, and a streaming PC that only ran Linux and ran my streaming perfectly and worked with my audio interface and all of my capture cards and my cameras didn't wig out and my plugins for OBS worked, and I would switch to Linux on my streaming PC. But guess what? OBS, even though it's open source, sometimes just doesn't work with Linux, and sometimes doesn't work with the variant of Linux you want to use. Oh, and by the way, NVENC for NVIDIA cards doesn't work, which is kind of an important thing. So, yeah. Mo Zamboni sends over $20. Thank you very much, sir. Well, I'm glad you have 100 plus viewers on this stream. I truly believe you should have at least 10 times that. Oh, thank you very much. As a 41-year-old dorky dad, your dry humor and depth of knowledge in libations and tech are enjoyable and much appreciated. Thank you very, very much. Part of the reason I think we never get much above, we'll do 150 and 200 concurrent users from time to time. We usually hover in the 120, 150 range. Yeah. Is honestly because of the time slot that we're in. Who's awake right now? There's not a lot of people that are awake.
I mean, we're basically only trying to say, hey, if you're on the West Coast, you can watch us, and that's
right. Yeah, we start at 11 p.m. Eastern. It's like 3 in the afternoon in Australia. It's 4 a.m. in London. I get some Germans on here late at night usually because 9:30 they're waking up finally and at least have had their beer and cornflakes.
It's like they're cracked open a beer, so like I know another guy who's drinking right now.
Right, and so to them it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock towards the end of my show, and they're like, yeah, I can join, but a lot of my audience just isn't awake at this time, and that's something we might be addressing sometime later this year. I've always floated it out there of backing it, to like a 5 p.m. time slot, but I've just never changed it. Part of it is out of laziness. This has just always been the time slot. Part of it is, a couple of years ago, there was a lot more competition in, I shouldn't say competition. There were a lot of other tech shows that had live streams throughout the week. And this was the time, Wednesday at 8, that worked for all of us. Maybe it's time to start thinking about that and revisiting it.
Conquer old land, conquer all of their old fallen kingdoms.
Right.
Take them over.
Yeah, I hear that Tuesday at 5 p.m. is available. No offense to Paul and Kyle. You guys ran a fantastic show. Just make Jeff clones, right? Also, now that I have someone working for me full time, this last week has been phenomenal as far as like productivity goes. You guys haven't seen it yet, but holy crap, there is some good stuff coming to the channel, and a lot of it consistently. Man, we are just on fire right now as far as getting through things and handling the business side of things, but then also producing content and then I can't remember the last day that I needed to work all day. Like I have so many things that I have to get done today, and I've got a deadline, and I've also got kids and lunch and running around and everything to do, that I stopped working before 8:00. Like, I would be down in my office by 9, and I'd work until noon. I'd go upstairs and I'd have lunch with the kids and the family, and then I'd come back downstairs and I'd work until 5, and then I'd go upstairs and I'd have dinner with the kids and the family, and then 6:30 I'd come back downstairs and I'd work for another hour and a half, and then I'd put the kids to bed, and if I still had work to do, I'd get back on and work from 9 to 11, and then wake up the next day and do it again. For the last 10 days or so, I've been starting my day at 9:00. I've been leaving my office at 4:00 and then going and playing video games. I can't remember the last time I did that, period, and didn't feel guilty about it, and then did it multiple days in a row. But every single day, like, yesterday we produced 4 pieces of content for review, for different pre-rolls and whatnot. But we wrote and produced 4 pieces of content, got them out the door, wrote a video to shoot later this week, prepped parts for a build that I did this morning. We shot the S around the water cooler for like 30 or 45 minutes, until 4:30 rolled around. And it's like, yeah, we should probably, you should probably be heading home, and I'll, go upstairs and whatnot. And it's like we were done with our workday at 3:45. And we did 4 times the work that I could possibly do by myself, just because there's another set of hands. Yeah. So what games have I been playing? Well, I've got my 5950X and my RTX 3090, so I've been playing Hitman Blood Money.
Oh, I thought you were playing on that retro PC of yours.
Actually, yes, I have been playing on that. So I've been playing on, and in fact, I rebuilt the retro PC. And if you want to see a little bit of that, I might show off the final revision of my retro PC tonight on the after party. So
join.
Think about joining the Patreon. Link is $1, or link is down in the video description. $1 a month gets you on there. You don't even have to give more if you don't want. I do charge per video, but that's for people who want to donate more or want to give $1 per video or something like that. You can set a monthly max and pay $1 for the first video every month, and then only pay $1 period for the entire month, and you're still on the Discord. Basically, I use it as a troll toll. So if you're kind of coming in just to troll me or just to get banned, at least I made $1 off it.
Yeah.
But the community there is fantastic, and pretty much every Wednesday after the show, we have an after party where we are all live on video chat, and you can talk directly with us, ask us questions, and honestly, just hang out and have fun.
It is the water cooler aspect thing. If you want to see all the people from all over, we got people from New Zealand, Australia, showing up there, and they're like, I just got off work. Right. I'm dead tired.
Norway, Ireland.
Yeah. If you really want to see, it's kind of funny because it would be weird if we changed the time slot, because then those people wouldn't be able to watch us live. And it's like, but those are like the core people.
Yeah.
These are the core people that watch it. These 120 to 200 plus people are like the core people that constantly come and watch our show.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you want a little bit of a preview of 6th revision of my retro PC, I'll show you the final version of it tonight, and oh my gosh, it is glorious. I gave up on the Windows 95, 98 Millennium aspect of it. I
just stick with XP.
It's too fraught with issues, and unless I went back in time a couple more years on some of the pieces of hardware, which I wasn't necessarily willing to do because of longevity and reliability and availability, it just made it way more difficult than it probably should have been. So I now truly have a retro rocket. that flies through any game, and because it's XP, it's mostly compatible with things from Windows 98 and Millennium. I did run into a couple games that I'm a little bummed don't quite work right, so I'm going to have to peruse through the forums from 2005 to see if I can find an answer. So hopefully someone said, oh yeah, just tweak this thing in the INI file and this game will run now. So we'll have to figure that out. Michael sends over $5. I just had an idea. Jeff Geerling, Hops and Brews, and Craft Computing. Jeff, and Rhett, early edition of Talking Heads. For like a wake-up thing? Maybe. I don't know. The thing is, I think more people are going to be available in the evening rather than the morning. Yeah. But no, early edition of Talking Heads. Well, that's pretty much what you get on the after party, because it often goes past midnight. So...
Yeah, so join the Discord and just download Discord on your phone.
Yeah,
trust me. We have people in the Netherlands that do that while they work.
Barzanone, $5. Thank you very much, sir. Spend $1 per month to get access to all the best Gamers Nexus Steam Deck memes. Stupid memes.
Yeah, we got some awesome channels. We have a whole channel dedicated to just memes.
Mozamboni, $2. Got to throw more money at you. You are 100% real. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There is some extra news. We got some AMD news. If you want to get into that.
Yeah. Dive in there.
So I know we got some extra news. Some little articles we were going to get to.
Yeah.
After that.
So yeah, there is some AMD news. One second.
Which looks really cool stuff. AMD's, is it Milan?
Milan, yeah. AMD Milan X, which is an unannounced and unreleased CPU, by the way.
Yeah.
An engineering sample of this has purportedly been leaked, and this is according to Tom's Hardware, showing not only the existence of the 128 core, 256 thread, 1.6 gigabyte of cache monster, but overclocked to 4.8 gigahertz on all cores. For those of you wondering what I was wondering, this chip is supposed to have a 285 watt or 300 watt, something like that, TDP or designed thermal load. It's supposed to have a 2.1 gigahertz base and a 3.4 gigahertz max turbo.
Yeah.
This is going 4.8 all core. They raised the power headroom from 300 watts to 1500
yeah,
watts.
I saw that. That was funny.
1500 watts. That's not an SoC.
Oh,
this is an SoC.
They updated. It wasn't 300, 280 watts.
Or yeah, 280. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, but still,
it's a rounding error at that point, John.
No, but I mean it was amazing. Actually, the other part too was getting it that high. Also, it wasn't even like a special cooler. This is all fan air blown.
Right.
Now, it did sound like a jet going through it, but it still was that.
Oh, and sorry, this was the overclock. The 4.8 was a dual 64 core Epyc 7773X Milan X chips. So thank you for the correction there, Ben. Benjamin over in the chat brought that up. But still, 1500 watts, even going to 2 sockets. Like, man. And we also now know that there is the existence of a 128 core chip.
Yeah.
So this was 4.8 gigahertz at 1.55 watts. Or 1.55 volts. Excuse me. Yeah. And as Mad Dog 66 says for $10, by the way, thank you. Great Scott! Yeah. Yes, 1.21 gigawatts indeed.
Yeah, no, this little chip, I mean, it looks cool. Although, like you said, it is just
I want to see this play Crysis in software rendering. That's what I want to see.
I mean, this is an engineer's example, so there's probably still going to be some tweaks to it.
Yeah.
That's usually how we end up seeing final design. Whether it goes up or down, we don't know. There's no release date or anything. Like you said, it was an unannounced chip at the same time. So this is all the information we actually even have on this chip.
Yeah.
Other than the rumors of, there's a possible chip coming out. So.
Yep.
So far, but that's pretty awesome.
I hear Intel has a cooler that'll bolt right up to it. Too much? Okay.
That's a dumb joke.
I thought it was good. There's also some Scotch in the news.
There
tonight.
Is some Scotch in the news.
And oh my god.
I assume you are buying all of us a bottle of this, Jeff.
Yeah, considering there's 280 of them, right?
Yeah, so
yeah,
4 of us.
288 bottles.
So 284 bottles will be left.
Yeah.
Plenty for everyone else in the world.
That's right.
But this is now the newest, world's oldest Scotch or whiskey.
Yes.
Whiskey.
Yes.
81 years.
So this is a Highland Scotch whiskey. This is a Highland single malt Scotch from Macallan. That was put into barrels in 1940.
Yep.
So this is Scotland in the middle of World War II.
Being bombed.
Making sure to keep their whiskey barrels full. They
knew what was important back then.
That's right. This is the Macallan 81. Single malt Scotch. I certainly hope it's a single malt Scotch. Especially because a bottle will run you between right around 90,000 euros or $125,000. This was placed into barrels in 1940 and then bottled last year, so 2021, for an 81-year aging period. Actually aging it for 81 years, not
in the bottle for 81
right,
years.
not
Well, the funny story, the thing about this is this was actually supposed to be released last year.
Yeah. But
the Glenlivet came out with their 80-year-old, which beat the Macallan's 78-year-old Scotch as the oldest.
Yeah.
So what they did was like, all right, fine, have the record for 1 year. We got one in the reserve. We'll release it. We'll just let it age for another year. Screw you guys.
Yep. Yep.
So, but yeah, 288 bottles.
Yeah, so they only produced 288 bottles of this, probably because the devil took his fair share of cut.
Drunk now.
I can't. Yeah. Yeah.
God, that wood just light a match. Smells awesome.
Now, for the $125,000, you're not just getting the Glencairn decanter, or Glencairn. That's a hell of a Glencairn. Macallan decanter. You're also getting a statue of 3 bronze hands that will hold the bottle up to display properly this 1/8 of $1 million bottle of Scotch.
It's a pretty bottle.
It's a beautiful bottle.
God, I wonder how much just the bottle and statue would be.
I was actually just thinking that.
Just to be like, all right, and to, you always trick people. If you ever buy an expensive bottle of something and then you just like put some cheap stuff in it afterwards, and you're just like, yeah, here you go.
Did you read the sentence? Because I just read the sentence. The Macallan adds that the decanters even have, quote, that they're even indented with subtle fingerprints that match the hands that hold it.
Oh, I did not. Okay.
So the bottle has indented fingerprints that match the statue.
Okay, so
I imagine they ship it with FedEx.
Knowing yours, it'd be like, yes, I got it. And they open up. It'd be like the scene in Pulp Fiction where they just,
Vincent, we good? We good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we good. Vincent. Yeah. Moving on to some gaming news.
Yeah, this happened today.
We are both super excited about this one. I've been super excited about this for a long, long time, ever since they announced it.
I was disappointed.
Were you?
Disappointed. Yes. Well, it was because certain things were promised and did not show up.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that's what I was disappointed about.
Okay.
Everything else, I was like, okay, this is great.
Okay.
But I waited till the end. I was like, it's going to be at the end. It's going to be at the end. It's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yep. That we finally have a release date for the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. It will launch on February 23rd. Oh, yeah. Were you talking about something?
You skipped one.
Did I?
Yes.
I didn't see one. Hold on.
There was the Nintendo one.
Oh, I missed the Nintendo one.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Okay.
That's why I was like, oh, okay, what are you talking okay. I was furious at But no, we can go to the other one.
Okay, we'll do that. Let me bring up my notes. Hold on. I got them here. We'll do the Nintendo one. John, what were you really upset with?
I was really upset because they were supposed to talk about Breath of the Wild 2.
Right.
And there wasn't ever. They even had it on there, and Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
It was all supposed to be talked about. They even had it in their itinerary, and they didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Nintendo Direct was today. And they pretty much didn't talk about any major first-party property at all.
Nope.
I mean, there's Kirby. They gave a teaser to a potential Kirby game, in which he's trying to swallow a car.
Or water.
Right.
It basically, like, he doesn't no longer need to swallow things. That was their pitch.
Yeah. So what we got was Kirby wearing a hat wearing
Kirby hat
car wearing the
Yeah, that. You can see the picture.
King's Pig Forest in the Name that reference. So yeah, a car wearing Kirby as a hat in supposedly the most difficult sentence that's ever been uttered on this channel.
Yes.
Let's just walk through the list of, like, sure, that's a thing. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I know people who definitely like it.
Yeah, I there's a following for that game.
Yep. Splatoon 3.
I tried the first one, wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, interesting mechanic, and honestly an interesting take on the drop
like
multiplayer game as a third-person shooter. Yeah. Wii Sports sequel called Nintendo Switch Sports.
There was already a Wii Sports. It's called Wii U Sports.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's also Wii Sports Resort.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yep.
But I will say that one comes with a strap, so you can put the controller on your leg.
Yeah.
So you can slowly kick your soccer ball when the animation kicks it really fast, but you have to slowly kick it. It was dope. There's a Mario Strike, which basically just looked like what was that? League of what's the racing one?
Racing one.
With the where you play soccer with cars?
Oh, Rocket League.
Rocket League. This is just Mario Rocket League.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
Yeah. No Man's Sky coming to the Switch 4 years later. Cool.
Yep.
Fire Emblem getting a new release. Advanced Wars. Remember Advanced Wars? Neither do I. No. Mouthful mode highlights for the latest trailer for Kirby, Portal, and Portal 2, as if you hadn't played those in the last.
I haven't seen those forever.
I mean, there's a whole XKCD comic of my my habit is playing games a decade later and no one understands my memes. And in the comic, he literally says the cake is a lie because he wrote it a decade after Portal came out. So we're supposed to be thrilled that Portal and Portal 2 are now on a mobile device. The GP2-1 plays Portal. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was, we're not going to give you Mario Kart 9. Instead, we're going to give you 23 more levels of Mario Kart 8, which has been around since, 2018?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, who cares?
Might have even been 17. It was not a launch title for the Switch, but it was one of the first releases.
It was a Wii U. It was a Wii U launch.
Yeah, title. That's right. So 2016, 15, 2015.
It's a good game, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't want just updates and new downloadable characters.
Mm-hmm. Unless it significantly improves the content.
Yes. Yeah. But all they did was, here's more retro levels.
Yeah.
From previous ones.
Right.
It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't need Choco Mountain from Mario Kart 64.
And Metroid Dread gets an update.
Which that game is hard.
Yep. We did not get any details on Metroid 4. We did not get any details on Breath of the Wild 2. We did not get any details on any new Mario games. We did not get any details on anything else, really.
Yep. Any of their main core titles. Nope, nothing.
King Illegal Forest 2 Pig Wild Kill in it is. There it is.
There it is. That's the good one.
I had to look it up.
But there is some gaming news that you and I are extremely excited about.
Yeah. That's my confusion because we're like, I was really excited. And you're like, except for the last one. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was like. Well, then when you said it, I was like, no, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah. Yes. So this was announced like a year ago, and they've been slowly releasing the first 6, which means we are finally on number 6. That is, Final Fantasy VI is getting a full pixel remaster. It will be available on Steam and Android on February 23rd.
Yes. So we kind of briefly talked about this, but the two of us pretty much agree in different orders, but pretty much agree that 4, 6, and 7 best Final Fantasies probably out there.
Yes. If you're watching in the US, then it's 2, 3, and 7.
Yes, 2, 3, and 7. Well, yeah. But 6 is 6/3. Doesn't get as much love for the remastering type of things. And there's been a remaster of 7. There's been like 5 remasters of 2, 4. Yeah. You know.
There's been a 3D reimagining of 4. There's been a quasi sequel with the After Years, which tells the story of Golbez before he became Golbez and Cecil and his childhood, and then expands the story of Rydia and Kane and Rosa and Tella and goes on to, does the cave trial on the moon. And where's the love for 6?
Oh yeah, where's the love? I mean, actually, 4 and 2 or 4/2. I'm just gonna start calling it 4. Mm-hmm. All right, it's just 4. That is my go-to airplane long trip game.
Oh, totally.
That is like, I know I can play this through, and it's like, I have 6 hours. I know exactly where I can get in 6 hours with this game.
Yep.
And I still have a fun time doing it.
Yep.
And
I should be, if I'm playing this fairly casually and doing a fair amount of grinding, I should be defeating the Giant of Babil right about the time I land.
Yeah. And so it's like, I can kind of know where I'm at just by like, okay, we're almost there just by playing the game.
Yeah.
And so that is one of my go-to ones. I think Steve's talking about 8. Oh my God, that was so horrible.
I played 8. 8 got a freaking remaster, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Before 7 did.
The moving building was so dumb. But anyways, 6 is fine. I mean, I just loved 6. I thought the story was amazing. The amount of characters you got, the gameplay was just great, because what I also really liked about the gameplay was every character you had to learn a slightly different way of playing.
There was a different skill set required for each character instead of let's just build them up.
Right. So it was God, what was the guy with the blonde crew cut?
Simon.
Simon.
The brother of the king.
Yeah, the brother of the
king. Simon was the sword guy. Wasn't he?
No, I thought that was Mal.
Now I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I know. But there are so many characters.
20 of them, I believe.
That's why. I mean, you had what I also loved. Yeah, you got to the flying ship and you got to that little casino or the bar area, ballroom area, and you got to pick your party. That was awesome.
Sabin was the crew cut guy.
Yeah, the crew cut. Yeah, you had to know like
Cyan was the sword dude.
Yeah. Okay. So you had to know like Street Fighter moves to know all of his different combos. Mm-hmm. And if you messed it up, you messed it up.
Right.
And other guys were timing issues of you had to hit the bar at the right time. So every person was a little bit different. It was really cool. I really liked that aspect of it. You got to be like, this is my core crew. It was fun.
Yeah. So, different abilities, different everything else. And we had the conversation beforehand because in Final Fantasy IV, John was saying he sometimes likes that better than 6 because he felt the characters were a little bit better developed. And I fully agreed with that. But while every character in Final Fantasy VI doesn't get the same love as another character in Final Fantasy VI, and my point of that was sometimes an abominable snowman is just an abominable snowman. That there are also characters who have very, very interesting storylines and character development arcs and things like that, like Celeste and even Sid have fantastic character development. And name a better villain than Kefka.
Oh, Kefka was a great villain.
Right?
It was great. So
name a villain that's more sadistic than Kefka. I mean, poisoning a village, breaking the world in half on purpose, genocide, genetic testing. This dude was ahead of his time. Let's just say. No,
this is what I wish they would do. I hope this gets enough love on Steam and everything, and then in 2 years, 3 years from now, maybe I hope sooner, we get the 3D remake like 4 got.
Yes.
But even better graphics, because the remake was on like the DS, the 3D DS or something.
No, just the DS. It was on the original Nintendo DS.
Yeah, so it wasn't like super great, but it was like, oh, this is all my characters kind of reimagined in a much better way and much better outfits. Yeah. And it kind of almost gave it more like a Final Fantasy VII aspect look to it, like a bit bumped, actually more like 8, really.
Yeah.
But
at 240p.
Yeah, that was the problem. I would love to see with the way portable gaming is that, like, even if it was done with like a PSP style, you could do a lot with that.
Even on an Android, like I'd love to see an Android version of it for consoles like the Ein Odin that was recently released that I have a pre-order for and should be shipping right after the Chinese New Year. That's not the product with the RISC-V in it, but that's another one that should be shipping next week for me. So I got a lot of fun stuff coming. Yeah.
No, I will definitely probably be picking this up just as a casual. I'm going to play this again just to play through. I'm going to have some really good memories, and I'm glad it's going to look a little bit better.
Yep. But yeah, proper widescreen support, pixel scaling. Yep. They basically redid every pixel in the game to make it work on a modern PC and still give you the original playability of it. It's retranslated, and so for better or for worse, we'll see how that winds up. But as the translations have gone on, they seem to have gotten better and better. So I'm definitely curious. This is a day one purchase for me. The Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster was also a day one purchase. Can't wait to give it a go.
Yep. Jeff, you said you've had some time, but I don't, like you said, you were
I am caught up
playing some games.
I am caught up.
Are you? You are caught up.
Mando and Boba Fett.
Didn't know.
Mando and Boba Fett caught up. I haven't watched today's Boba Fett yet.
Oh,
but I almost
I
almost stayed up till midnight last night. Like midnight hit, and I'm like, should I? No, I should go to bed.
that was my all right. I got nothing to do for lunch.
Yeah,
let's watch this. But yeah, so if you haven't watched it, we're not going to talk about it. But the Book of Fett concluded, and I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Yes.
I thought they were a great direction for Star Wars stuff to go, instead of the overtop, lightsaber fighting and everything like that, and over the top duels. It kind of felt more Western and samurai-esque, kind of a mixture of both, back to its roots. Boba Fett was a little slow at the beginning, but I still liked it in the end.
Yeah,
it's starting to feel more like a cohesive universe again.
Yeah,
kind of like how what Disney was doing with Marvel, and so they're like, look, here's this whole big world, and we can now start tying characters from the original, from animated series, which was awesome, by the way, for the Boba Fett, the last episode.
By the way, we're not going to give any spoilers for the last episode, because I will literally murder John.
I'm talking last week's
yes,
episode.
Okay.
Last week's episode. Not the last one. So I'm looking forward. I originally was not looking forward to this series. We're talking right now is the next installment of Star Wars is the Obi-Wan series.
Yes.
Which is just got announced, debuting May 25th.
Yes.
So 3 months, a little over 3 months, we'll have to wait, but still, that's fine. They did such a good job, I think, on the past 3 seasons. I am now looking forward to this.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
So
I was looking forward to it when I heard they recast Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Because they, over the years, they have pushed back against, and it's not that even Obi-Wan's performance wasn't good in the prequels. It was. Liam Neeson's portrayal of Qui-Gon was quite good. It was the choices made with directorially how their characters were portrayed and what direction they wanted to take them. Hayden wanted Anakin to be showing signs of, I'm a little bit evil. I'm slanting that way. I'm a little bit reckless, or I'm a little bit, whatever. And what we got was, a coming of age, angsty teenager story starring Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And Hayden spoke years later and said, I hated it. Like, I tried to do so much more with the character, but, George was so insistent on, this is the way I wrote him and this is the way he's going to be. And apparently George doesn't understand teenagers. And so what we got in the prequels was what we got. And what we got in the sequel trilogy was kind of what we got. And I said of the sequel trilogy, the problem with it is there wasn't one person who was overseeing it, creative and story and narrative direction of it. It was, here, you want to direct a Star Wars? Yeah, go have fun with that. And it's like, well, we're writing 3 movies, right? Well, yeah, but you can just do this one, and then we'll sign someone else. Oh, you're going to give them the story, the continuation of it. No, we're going to let them write chapter 2. Okay, but what about all the stuff I set up in chapter 1? Well, they might use it, they might not. Okay, but you're going to bring me back for chapter 3, right? Well, yeah, but...
Well, I don't even think they were like, you're going to bring me back. It was, the guy messed up so bad at chapter 2. I think we kind of need you back, but you don't get 100% creative, writing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Even in
well,
the
we struck out so poorly on the first 2. Why don't we bring back an old favorite, an Emperor Palpatine?
Yes. Oh gosh. Well, was it J.J. Abrams didn't write the first one? He just directed it, and then I believe he insisted he be part writer on the last one.
Yeah,
and I think he's a good director. His writing, not so much. It's like okay.
Yeah,
it's not as good as his directing.
Yeah,
and so the hey, let's do some fan service and bring back Palpatine and all this. And all he did was the exact same thing the director of number 2 did, was let's scratch this off of his storyline and let's scratch that off of that. And it was like, this doesn't make anything good.
Yeah.
But
how many different love triangles did they try to establish and none of them worked?
Yeah. I know.
Like I seriously lost count of the Twitter-pated looks that the characters would give each other.
Well, at least it's better than there was a love story in Picard. And it was that what was the engineer's name, or the girl and her daughter.
Oh yeah.
Raffi. Like that episode, Raffi. Yeah. And then at the end, like Raffi and 7-9 are couples. Like, wait, when did this happen?
Yeah.
What happened to Chakotay?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I was like, okay. Whatever.
I don't know who I am anymore.
I was like, I don't care about. I want to know why. What happened? What was the connection? They didn't even talk to each other.
Right.
Where is this coming from?
Like in one scene, Raffi got really drunk, and then everyone almost died, and then they flash back to the bridge and they're embracing hands. It's like, what?
What? Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't care.
Right.
But how did that happen?
Right.
I want to know that. How did you get here? So,
yeah.
But we do have one more piece of really good news. And the funny thing is I looked this up. So,
sorry, hold on. Okay. The net guy sends over $10. Thank you very much, sir. $10 for you to film asking Rhett tomorrow to turn in his TPS reports and be totally serious and act upset about it.
See, that's what you could start doing for shorts, or like you and Rhett in the office.
Yeah. and film it office style.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. You know, have Rhett sitting down on the couch and, you know, well, I don't even know what I do here.
Yeah. What do I do? Jeff just runs everything. Yeah. I mean, if you tell him something, I just go get him. I just grabbed a beer out of a fridge and poured for him. That's what I do.
Yep.
Sometimes I give him a Bud Light. He doesn't even notice. I don't even think he can taste it.
I think I am a great boss, a fantastic boss. In fact, everyone here loves me. I mean, we really are just one big family.
One big family. Like, it's so much so. We all spend the time in one bedroom. They really do love me. There's even a portrait of us above the fireplace.
Yeah. Then I hold the number 1 boss cup.
Yeah. Some special news as of today as well, not including just the Final Fantasy thing to go geeky about.
Yes, but good news, everyone!
Good news, everyone! We're back!
I'm still technically alive!
Futurama was announced today. A revival of 20 episodes on Hulu.
Yes.
We are getting a little more of our favorite futuristic year 3022.
Yes.
Or 23.
Yep. So far we have a good chunk of the original cast signed on and ready to go. That includes Billy West, voices of Fry, Zoidberg, Professor, many other characters. Katie Seagal as Leela, Tress McNeil as, I believe, Amy, Maurice LaMarche, who is a lot of the alternative characters. So he is Hedonism Bot and Morbo and Calculon.
I think it's like Scruffy too.
Right.
All those.
Yeah. Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, who is Hermes, David Herma, John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender. Not yet confirmed.
Not yet confirmed. Now that's still
right.
There's still a light in the tunnel there too, because they're saying, hey, invitation is completely open. We want you to be back. You still work with Matt on the, what was it called, the Netflix one, the Super
Disenchanted.
Yeah. So he works with that.
Yep.
So far still seems to have a great relationship. Don't see why he wouldn't come back.
Right.
Maybe he just might want, I don't know, a bigger pay raise or something. Who knows?
Who knows?
But what was funny is...
all we know is that he's not signed yet. I don't know that he's been offered and declined. I don't know that they're not just negotiating. I don't know, his agent just hasn't responded. All we know is the rest of the voice actors are officially signed up for it. John DiMaggio is thus far absent. And the studio has actually said that Bender will be part of the next chapter of Futurama. And if John DiMaggio doesn't get on board, that the role will be recast.
Yeah, I'm sure they would get someone who sounds like him. I don't think they're going to do like a let's make him sound completely different and give him a different voice box.
Right.
I don't think that. I think they're going to try to do something like cheap Disney movies of old, to where they're like, let's cast someone that sounds just like him, type of thing. When they
featuring Gilbert Gottfried as the Aflac Duck.
Yeah,
be the new voice of Aflac. Wait, you can do the Gilbert Gottfried voice? Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Because screw Gilbert Gottfried.
So, but yeah, this is cool. So Futurama, when it got renewed, I think so. It ran from 99 originally to 2003.
Yeah.
Then it got picked up 2008, something like that. And then
they had a series of movies that they
yeah. And then what did the last episode? I think I saw it said 2013.
Yeah.
Is when it ended. So that would be like, there's a bunch of 10-year gaps of this show.
Right. So originally produced on Fox from 99 to 2003. Comedy Central picked it up in 2008 and ran it till 2013.
Yep.
And
then it's getting picked up by Hulu.
Yes.
At 23.
Sorry, Tress MacNeille is Mom, and Lauren Tom is Amy Wong.
Oh, okay.
I flipped those, but yeah. Sorry, just wanted to correct that real quick.
So it's super exciting. I mean, how many jokes do we talk about? How many references, one-liners are on the Discord? The GIFs we use are Bender, Fry, the Professor, everything. Nerd stuff is a lot of Futurama things.
Do you know how many emotes that I have that are Futurama on my Discord server?
Exactly. It's if you are a nerd in this time of day, you know what Futurama is.
Yep. You know what this is. You know why you're here.
Yeah. We're gonna get more Zach Brannigan. Yes.
Really quick, what's one of your favorite Futurama quotes? Let's just go through some of them.
Oh man.
Like first one that pops into your head when I say that.
Oh gosh. Well, that was the good news, everyone.
Yeah.
Now you put me on the spot. What's yours?
One of my favorite one-liners is from Scruffy. And I'm not
the janitor.
Yeah. Who's that? I'm Scruffy, the janitor. Zoidberg is walking away and Scruffy goes, "Wow, I've never seen him so down or ever before." It just
that was the box episode where the two Zoidbergs are doing the box, and it's like, all hail Zoidberg and the box. Zoidberg caresses the box. There's a lot of good ones, man. Now I'm all on the spot.
In the game of chess, you must never let your opponent see your pieces.
I remember, so this is back, with dial-up. I remember when Futurama first came out in 99 and downloading WAV files, so low.
The soundboards.
Whalers on the Moon is one of my favorite. I'll still randomly sing that. We're whalers on the moon, we carry a harpoon. Just I don't know why. And my wife just rolls her eyes.
God dang it, Crushinator.
Crushinator. A woman like that, you have to finagle for a while. Kip, tell the men I have made it with a woman.
Show them my medal, Kif. Yeah, he rented it with his tax refund.
Snoo snoo. Death by snoo snoo. That GIF alone right there is used on our Discord so much.
Yes.
In the chat, what is your guys' favorite Futurama quote? Or one of your favorites? Let us know. Hey, also, if you're on this far so long, if you haven't hit that
do a flip. Yes. Perfect.
Why not Zoidberg? Hooray!
You spend a lifetime carving a guy's big toe. You're gonna remember him.
Remember me.
Tangled up Christmas lights. We can take shifts untangling them. Unlabeled booze, wide bottle or wide mouth even.
Wide mouth. Yeah,
the suit was ugly. Whale biologist. The loot is on fire. Yeah. Yeah. How's my Richard T. Nixon?
Oh yeah.
How's the family, Morbo? Belligerent and numerous.
Dang, what was the one
at any rate, I wouldn't harm the child.
Basically anything Hedonism Bot ever says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I love that Hedonism Bot is basically John Belushi in aluminum skin. He's just John Belushi as Caesar. Nice. Nice.
She's built like a steakhouse.
Not thrilling.
She handles like a bistro.
There's not an eatery built I can't fly.
Oh, yeah.
Leela, we've met before, have we not?
Yeah.
And when we met, did you have sex with anyone?
So looking forward to that. Looking super happy for that. I hope all of the original cast comes back. Yes. I really do.
What makes a man turn neutral, Kif? Lust for gold, power, or was he just born with a heart full of neutrality? I will destroy you, Morbo.
Oh yes.
Windmills do not work that way. That's my favorite. If I had to pick a favorite,
Omicron Persei 8.
Yeah.
I am Lure of Omicron Persei 8. Human horn.
That was a close one, but I pulled it out. That just like in the movie theater. Woo!
But yeah, so Matt Groening and David Cohen are both coming back as the original creators.
Yes.
I don't know who. I don't remember if they actually both came back for the Comedy Central. I don't think Matt Groening came back for the Comedy Central.
Is Kif back? Yes, Kif is played by Maurice LaMarche. So
more oil.
Super chat. Denver. I'm meeting you halfway, you filthy hippies.
Hey, hippies.
Yes. You see, kilobots have a preset kill limit. I sent wave after wave of my own men at them.
I'll probably end up watching Futurama.
I could do this all night, and I probably will now that I've started. So join us in the after party.
That's right.
Join the Patreon, gets you into the Discord server, only $1 at a minimum, and it really is a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching episode 222 of Talking Heads every Wednesday night here on Craft Computing. Make sure to like this video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Craft Computing. If you like the beer content on this channel, check out John's channel over at Hops and Brews. Link is also down below. Follow us on Twitter, Craft Computing, at Hops and Brews, just like the names right above us say. John, any closing thoughts? Any good of the order? Things you want to pimp?
Oh, I was trying to think of something from Futurama and I can't now.
I was trying to lead you there with a Bender pimp quote.
Oh, God. Shut up, baby. I know it.
Bender, we love you.
I use that on my wife all the time.
Me too. If I don't survive, tell my wife hello. I have no strong opinions one way or the other.
Or the other.
Yes. What is this? WOV. It's a good one. All
right.
Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be here next week, whether you like it or not. And until then, thanks for all the fish. How else am I going to sign?
All right, guys. See you later. Oh, gosh.
The stream. There it is.
There it is.
Okay. I opened
all
up
right.
too many windows. Good night, everyone.
Night.